Welcome to the 2015 Tessitura Learning and Community Conference, the best learning, idea sharing, and networking opportunity for arts and cultural professionals on this planet. Looking at 1,722 of you out there in Orlando, here at the Grande Lakes, is inspiring to me. And we hope that by the end of this week, you will all be inspired. As 43% of you are first-timers at TLCC, and some of the rest of you are relatively new to the network, you might think of this as just another user gathering of a technology company where you show up, people are selling stuff, there's some speeches, maybe a paid keynote, some kind of party. Well, that's not us. We have a party. But our community-centered company is different. So I thought I might put a little how into the wow and talk about how this community-centered company came to be. So I'm going to veer off of the traditional opening with stats and slides and lots of PowerPoints, and I'm going to tell a story about pain and necessity, opportunity, trust, creativity and innovation, collaboration, generosity, and of course, community. And personally, a story of a perfect alignment of career interests, opportunity, and timing. I have lived with the network since July of 2001, from inception to creation to operation, success, growth, and everything in between. So the concept of community, to me, is not just an activity that we do. Community was and is what we're made of. Community is our DNA. And like many life and career-changing events, my story of Tessitura started with running out of money. Well, actually not my money, fortunately. But let's flash backwards to the first dot-com boom and bust from 1997 to 2000. Companies were raising money from venture capital, public offerings, investors, for all sorts of purposes. And as we think about it, those companies boil down to three main types. First, there were great business ideas that were making money or on a pathway to making it. Second, there were good business ideas, potentially, that had gotten funding but needed more time and money to see whether they were going to make prime time. And third, there were terrible businesses that sucked up investor money and tanked. Think Pets.com. I was involved with two of those concepts. Fortunately, one of them was a screaming success, went public, and changed an industry. They were in the first category. The second one was in the second category. It was a decent idea, but needed a lot more money and some time to make it happen. And in 2001, the funding window pretty much slammed shut, not just for us, but for everyone. However, it was via that internet company that I met up with Tessitura. Actually, at the time, the name of it was Empresario. With a bit more money and venture capital support, we would have married up our select-your-own-seat online capability with Tessitura's great across-the-organization capabilities and gone the traditional route of launching a for-profit company, and we had a good chance of success. But that's where honesty comes to play. As someone once said, honesty is the best policy. I was honest with the Metropolitan Opera when I told them that our dot-com company could not go forward with the plans to merge technologies due to funding shortfalls. And that's where it got interesting. 7 arts organizations had kicked the tires, so to speak, of Tessitura. 2 were already live, even though there was no promise of support. And all of the organizations, like hundreds of others, were incredibly frustrated, misled, disappointed, upset, and generally mad about being abused by suppliers in this industry that cared about the arts just enough to make a sale and some promises and then move on, but not to this sector. all of them, all of these 7 early companies, knew that they needed comprehensive CRM to survive in a more complex world. So me, by that time, I had decided to do what perhaps some of you did when you left a company. I became a consultant. And I was fortunate to be asked by the Metropolitan Opera and these other early adopters, who I had been honest with, to facilitate a discussion around whether something different could be done. And fortunately, the Santa Fe Opera, the first license holder, suggested that we meet in Santa Fe. If we were meeting in a dark hotel room in downtown somewhere and people were looking at their watches, I'm not sure this would have come together as quickly as it did. For me, it had been a wild 2 years. I had gone from a global holding company with a 20-year career, buying dozens and dozens of businesses and operating a multi-hundred-million-dollar division, to being CFO of a successful IPO, to being CEO of a dot-com that ran out of money. And here I was in a courtyard in downtown Santa Fe at the St. Francis Hotel with several dozen people who were there, they were really nice, and they were there to solve some big problems that they all had. For me, I realized this was the opportunity for a career lifetime of experiences to come together. Experiences involved in entrepreneurship, marketing, finance, operations, technology, deal making, and a fair amount of nonprofit board work to come together at the perfect time. And all of these 7 organizations were pioneers, and they fortunately had been empowered to solve a major pain point and to spend time and money doing so. And there was pain. Arts organizations were not being run efficiently, even with good people, due to the lack of a unified and highly functional CRM that could enable marketing to know everything about what they needed to target effective communications, and fundraisers to have a complete background of every constituent, their likes and dislikes, their transactions, their preferences, their associations, so they could raise money smartly. And box office and phone room people understood the person to whom they're speaking and everything about them, so they could provide great service. And front of house, having operational metrics, so they could run the business properly. And all of this was unified and real time. If these tools were not in place, revenue would not be coming in, the businesses would not be successful, and great service could not be possible. Yes, there was pain. At the time, no vendor could be trusted that they were going to make this happen, or that they could even do it. And there was another reason for this. There was necessity. Electronic communications had speeded up everything. The internet made 24/7 a necessity, and it opened up channels that never closed, and the consumer experience had to be wonderful. Thus, this group had a real opportunity to not only potentially use the same software, but to collaborate on a business model that they would not be disappointed again and have to go through system search after system search every few years. What if there was a company that was set up with a perfect alignment that had software that was and related technologies that was perfectly and purposely aligned to meet their needs and achieve their goals? And that software was operated by a team of savvy CRM and arts knowledgeable professionals who were passionate about what their mission could be. And that software or technology was continually innovated, and the services expanded. And this company even had the altruistic goal of enabling knowledge sharing so that the organizations could share knowledge within the industry. So these words and concepts came together into the formation of a mission statement. And over a calm and rational 3 days of interesting discussions, we created the Tessitura Network mission statement in 2001. The people in that room took a leap of faith and created a bond of trust. And there was trust going in every direction. Most of these people didn't know each other. A few did, but many are still involved today. But most of them knew one person. He was a center point, and that person was the primary factor to help get this going and the success. I met this guy in March of 2001 when we first looked at Tessitura, and then again at this July of 2001 meeting. We sized each other up, realized we came from totally different backgrounds, but those backgrounds, in terms of our experiences and our opinions, actually balanced each other out really well. And somehow, we realized that we could trust each other. That guy, Chuck Reif, our senior VP of Technology, I could say the true father of Tessitura, will be talking to you tomorrow on this stage with Kristen Darrow about future technologies and capabilities of Tessitura. And he and our great team have recently released our biggest release in history with some cool capabilities to have a tablet that can allow you to set up a sales point anywhere. Chuck and I have stayed good friends over the years. We rely upon each other every day. We trust each other, and occasionally we have some fun. Many of those at the Santa Fe meeting are still involved, and the earliest adopters many of them are here. For example, Anna Wesley from our development team was the first database person at the Santa Fe Opera. Kelly Tweedell, the executive director of the Seattle Opera, will be on this stage on Wednesday giving an Innovator Series presentation. Kelly was a founding board member and our second chair. Tom Morris, Director of Administration for the Santa Fe Opera, was a founding board member as well, and our first treasurer. He was such a gracious host in Santa Fe. And Smita Sharon, business manager at the Met, under which this Tessitura project came to be as part of a customer service initiative, continues to provide crucial contract services to the network today. So far we have needs, pain, opportunity, necessity, honesty, trust. Let's talk about creativity and innovation and generosity and collaboration and even more trust. The Metropolitan Opera, not wanting to be in the software business, gave up the opportunity to sell off this software to the highest bidder, as is what happened with most other companies. So they agreed to take a bit of a risk and provide the source code to this company to be formed if there was a governance model that could be set up. So what happened? They asked Chuck if he would handle the technical side, and they asked me if I would do everything it needed to start the business, do licensing, and run the company. We started right away, licensing, supporting, and we ran out of bandwidth. So we started hiring people. And all of those people that we hired then are still with us today. Bob Bell, VP of Support, was our first support person. Mark Rhodes, Senior Developer, started developing. Ron Wilson, our Chief Technical Officer, first came to us as an installer. Gina Jackson started as a part-time bookkeeper, is our great CFO. Andrew Racinos, Executive Vice President, who does many things, started as an implementer. And Don Youngbird, of course, VP of Community, joined us as a Vice President. Many others are still with us as well. Our retention rate as a company since we started is over 85%. We added new license holders and kept on developing the product based on input and direction from the users. In the early days, we had a point-based voting system to help us set priorities. That was the forerunner of the roadmap process that you can all participate in this week. We added a comprehensive API to connect Tessitura to the internet, to the websites of all of their license holders, and the Lyric Opera of Chicago and the Houston Ballet both went live with that in February of 2002. And we collaborated on a community-driven governance model, retained counsel, created articles of incorporation and bylaws, formed a corporation, filed for an IRS charitable status, and the members, the earliest adopters, helped craft our membership agreement that is our operating framework today. And a task force of users from the user community actually drafted the support standards. So the community created the rules of the company. So in the community, in every way, created this company. And the community permeates and guides what we do. We are not governed by a board of outside investors and outsiders. We are governed by a board of you, leaders of the community. We are not developing software to do whatever we think. So the member advisory committee, Yep, there they are. So we rotate off every year, and the member advisory committees actually come on by nomination. So it's not just the member advisory committee. They are at the pinnacle. They evaluate what our development team are doing, and they give us great feedback, critical feedback. But then it goes from there to the roadmap process, where all of you can contribute ideas and help prioritize. And every one of you can submit an enhancement request, and many of those enhancement requests would get done. The community actually informs the content of this TLCC through a number of committees. They plan they decide what subjects they want to hear. The community decides what subjects they want to hear and helps set the speaker panels to bring the network thought leadership further. And they have a little fun and competition in doing so to get every track set. The community shares ideas in dozens of online forums and groups. That's not where support comes from. But if you have an idea, a concept perhaps to change your membership system, and you want to ask others what they think about it or whether they've tried it, you would post that, and within an hour, you'll hear ideas from all over the world. The community holds user group meetings by city and region. Some are quite creative. The moose logo, hard to say actually, of the Southern Ontario user group was what they created. OINK, the name of the Ohio, Indiana, and Northern Kentucky user group. I'd hate to see the logo for that. And for my hometown, DFW, for an entire region, a user group. Yes, Texans are proud. So these user groups hold networking events, sometimes over coffee, sometimes after work. Sometimes they hold half-day or all-day meetings sharing knowledge, and the network contributes people and ideas and content to that as well. So these groups are all focused on ideas sharing and networking within the community. The community also holds conferences by continent. So we have many of you here from overseas, and we appreciate that, but we know that not everyone can travel. So this started a number of years ago in Australia, New Zealand, ANZTRUC, Australia, New Zealand, Tessitura Regional User Conference. This year it will be in Sydney. Last year it was in Melbourne. About 300 people actually sold out the space that they were using. And how fitting is it that Robinhood is going to be welcoming people to the European Tessitura Network User Conference in Nottingham in November. I don't see the sheriff, but Robinhood will be waiting for us. The community leads the world of arts and culture with thought leadership. This includes the Tessitura Network Innovator Series, business insights for arts and culture that are compelling, informative, creative, passionate, inspiring, and educational. And our very, 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 I could say more, special guest speaker, Renee Fleming, will be adding to this thought leadership from this stage on Tuesday on critical topics of audience development, community engagement, and arts education. Everyone in the community, and actually globally, will benefit. We're live streaming that as well. The community governs this company through a representative board by size, by genre, by geography, and skill set. I report to them. I report to the community, and I respect them. And they understand that their role is guidance and governance, not operations. The community keeps us on our toes with ideas and input and constructive feedback, issues of any type, big and small, and we try to be incredibly responsive on the phone and online, and we have many of us are on the ground and in your venues literally every week. We're in your buildings constantly. Probably some of you see us too much, but we are here to be responsive to you. So this company was born by the community and serves the community. We do so with an amazing team of 147 people. We will meet them shortly, face up and close and personal. And the community has gotten larger since the last TLCC. We added a whole new country, Sweden, and we have representatives here from them. We added wonderful attractions, all with the same needs as our core markets. We added zoos, in this case the Minnesota Zoo. We added historic houses, George Washington's Mount Vernon, the most visited historic house in the United States. Beautiful gardens, such as the Tulsa Botanic Garden. Wow, Tulsa is big. And we continue to build on the traditional genres that we started with. Theaters, operas, symphony orchestras, performing arts centers, ballet and dance, and last year, 20 museums, science centers, and galleries. Quite a few. Even an aircraft carrier. This is not the Midway where we held a function in 2011. This is the Intrepid on the other coast. And in addition to that, other forms of arts and cultural organizations. So I'd like to ask all of you to join me in a warm welcome to the 2015 class of Tessitura. The Tessitura Network community is now 522 organizations strong. The Tessitura community is vibrant and growing. All of you trusted the Tessitura Network to join the community we're all part of. This is an exciting business. It is an intense business. It is not like any other traditional form of business. The network took advantage of 21st century tools, built a team of the absolute best, and we live and breathe our mission. A mission that the community wrote, and a mission that is 100% focused on each of your organizations achieving your missions and accomplishing your goals, and focused on continual innovation and enabling knowledge sharing. There is no more aligned business model in the world. And there is trust, and mutual trust. And where there is mutual trust, there has been success. Team Tessitura will do everything possible to earn your trust every day and continue to build on that success of what we have accomplished together. And for me, looking back, this has been a journey I never expected to go this far, this fast. Amazing. I work with incredible people. I have been to hundreds and hundreds of venues, near and far, small and large. And I've been fortunate in how this all came together. We all work hard in the network to earn your trust, and we perform every day. It is hard work. It is literally 24/7 work. Many of you have likely gotten emails from me at 2 a.m. or some other odd hour. No one requires us to work these hours. Our team runs flat out because there is a passion to perform well to meet your expectations. Sometimes they sleep between assignments. You know, looking back, I've had a few jobs, and I feel great about my career. My Tessitura career has created a family. Not only my family expansion of 3 wonderful grandchildren since I started with Tessitura, but a family of people who I enjoy being with and who I respect everyone. And they enjoy being with each other. We all value and respect our family of thousands of users, all of you who don't feel like clients or customers because you're not. You're part of the community. We count upon you, and you count upon us. I know many of you are in the arts or with cultural organizations because you love bringing arts and culture to the world. Me, I am truly blessed to say that I love my job. We live our network mission to bring about your success. For me, this has been a labor of love. Enjoy TLCC 2015, and thank you.